All right, fight fans. It was the rematch between Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor. It was Catterall by unanimous decision. I'm going to start out by saying I got this fight wrong. I picked Josh Taylor to win this fight by unanimous decision. Let me jump right into my pros and cons. Let me start with Jack first. I like the jab. His jab had authority on it. He was throwing the jab with conviction. And the moment that the bell rung in the first round, it was very clear that he was going to try to control the fight with the jab. I like the fact that Jack, even though he does not have a lot of knockouts, he said that he wanted to get in there and hurt Josh. He wanted to knock Josh out. And when he got into those middle rounds, he definitely was throwing that left hand with conviction. As for the cons for Jack, I didn't like the fact that he allowed himself to be smothered at times. Taylor's a little longer than him, longer arms. And I felt that both of these guys fought the fight in the phone booth, which I enjoyed. But I thought that Jack could have did a little bit better of not allowing himself to be smothered. As for Josh Taylor, I love the body work. I mentioned just a few seconds ago that he's a longer fighter, and they're both southpaws. So whenever Taylor would duck in, he was literally right there on Catterall's body. So he would throw a left hand to the body. I love the uppercuts. Taylor threw a lot of uppercuts in this fight. I think that he did that to shorten the distance. Like whenever he would come in, instead of, because they fought so close to each other, winging shots didn't really work. So he threw a lot of uppercuts to try to, close that distance and get some shots in. As for the cons for Josh Taylor, I think that Taylor could have had a lot more body movement, upper body movement. His head was right there. He really didn't circle Jack a lot. It was very clear that Jack was going to throw the jab, and it's been said that the way to stop a jab is to throw your own jab. I felt that Taylor's game plan seemed to be to get in close, throw that quick uppercut, and throw those shots to the body. Let's talk about the fight. I thought that this fight was actually a pretty decent fight. I think that the first couple of rounds belonged to Catterall. I think he did a very good job of establishing the jab and taking control of the fight. I felt that maybe in round 3 or 4 that Taylor came, made a decent little comeback to get into the fight. Fight could have been tied at that point, but then we get to the 5th round where Catterall comes out and he just basically unleashes on Josh Taylor. I mean, he hit him with that vicious, left to the chin. He pretty much stayed on top of him that whole round. But then we get to the 6th round. I felt that Catterall maybe had burned out just a little bit, because I thought he put a lot into that 5th round. That gets us through almost the first half of the fight. In the last 6 rounds, I didn't think that the fight was as wide as some may have thought. I have no issue with Catterall winning the fight, but they almost made it seem like that Taylor got washed those last 6 rounds. I felt that maybe, I want to say it was the 9th, if I remember right, that was, to me, like one definitive round for Catterall. Anyway, we get to the last half of the fight. It was some decent back and forth action. Each man definitely was going for the knockout. They were not trying to leave it into the judge's hands. And we get to the end of the fight, and it is Catterall by unanimous decision. Now, before I ask you all, what do you want to see next? Let's talk about the promoters. Bob Arum gets into the ring. He goes on a rant and says that he thought that Josh Taylor won the fight. Even though I picked Josh Taylor, I have no issue with the judges, taking Catterall. And of course, Eddie Hearn also thought that his guy won the fight. But when they asked Catterall what did he want to do next, he just said, talk to Eddie. Eddie did not say that he wanted to see the 3rd fight, which is what I want to see. He instantly mentioned Devin Haney, because I forget you all who Devin Haney is fighting in the next couple of months, and saying that basically after a win like this, Jack deserves a chance to be, undisputed super lightweight champion, or at least a champion. He named another fighter that actually sets my mind down, that he said that Jack could fight. So it sounds like that maybe Team Hearn is not looking at the trilogy, which I think that this fight was good enough that it warrants that. As for Josh Taylor, I did listen to some of the ESPN broadcasts, and Tim Bradley was talking about Josh Taylor going up in weight, going up to welterweight. Maybe he drained himself for this fight, and he wants to go up to welterweight. Listen, I think that Josh Taylor would do decent at welterweight, especially if he was drained for this fight. I'm not saying that he's up there with Terrence Crawford where he would beat those top guys, but if he really felt drained and it was hard to make 140, he might also go up to 147. As for Jack, I would really love to see the third fight between him and Josh Taylor. I think that Catterall would have the advantage because if Taylor is having a hard time making the weight and he can convince him for one more time to fight at super lightweight, I'm going to have to go with Catterall next time. What do you want to see, fight fans? Do you want to see the trilogy? Do you want to see Taylor go up to welterweight? Or and who do you want to see Catterall fight next if it isn't a third fight with Josh Taylor? All right, fight fans. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep talking boxing. That's all I got. I'll let y'all later.